Now to see if that helps. In one spot. Maybe I should move this over here somewhere. Ooh. Is that better? I don't know. Wait, that's I don't know where the cameras are. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, well, that's recording. All right, done. Oh, Jesus. Okay, record.
What up? What up? What up? It's Pope and Ty, where we speak health. We won't tell you a lie. We back again. We back again. How you feeling today?
Good. It's been an amazing day. I've been super busy all day doing stuff, growing and glowing and all that good stuff. So it's been a good day. How about you?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome. You know what I mean? I'm excited to get into this week's topic.
Yes.
If people tuned in last week, the essential oils, what we were talking about, it all lines up. And so, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's getting deeper and deeper every week. A lot of people have been really concerned about the information that's being disseminated in our, in the news and in our environments. And okay, y'all gonna have to bear with me. I got a whole bunch of cameras. I'm trying to figure out stuff. So let me know how this goes. The information that's being disseminated, and Pope's over here, so that's why I keep looking over here, but I'm gonna look back. The information that's being disseminated in our media, in our communities, the things that we're fearful about. Even I had a talk today with one of my friends, and we all have a lot of knowledge about. Most of my friends are in healthcare or in service industries, and they do have a lot of, they're already woke and conscious and all of that good stuff. But even the information that was coming across to them, they were saying was like, something's not right. This sounds a little strange. Something sounds uncomfortable. We're still not getting the information we need to make decisions. And we were able to have a conversation about that because it's the truth. Like, you're paralyzed with fear. And then we feel like the only option is to take a vaccine, right? Because we have so many people that are saying it. And you and I, did the talk on Clubhouse, but I went into another room after we were done in the vaccine room. And there were health professionals who were saying, I would accept getting Bell's palsy. I would accept whatever the side effects are just to make sure I had a COVID shot. And the room went crazy. I was like, I can't believe you just said that. That was her truth to share. And I was appreciative of her sharing it. But as a health professional, you have to be very, very careful when you say things like that, right? Because you are acknowledging the risk, you're acknowledging disfigurement, but you're still saying, that I would still take the shot. And that actually translates to people that you're fearful as well. You have the information to not be fearful, and you're still choosing to operate out of fear. Oh my goodness, right? I was so shocked that she even said that. And there were other people that chimed in, but I was just sitting there as another health professional. We're in two different industries. I get it. I believe she was a nurse practitioner, and, I'm in functional wellness. So she does see more urgent care than I do. However, people come to me usually because they're dealing with the side effects of what happened during urgent care or what was not diagnosed during urgent care. So now they're trying to restore and or heal their bodies. So for her to make such a strong statement based in so much fear, that made me a little nervous about the information that's being disseminated and being shared. So I really wanted to take the time to discuss this with you. Now, there's a direct link in between COVID and diabetes, because diabetes is an inflammatory autoimmune disease, all of them. So So listen, last time I checked, there was supposed to be only 4. I think it's type 2, type 1, type 2, pre-diabetes, and then let me see, there's something else. There's an autoimmune insulin resistance. There it is. But what we don't know about is that we have the opportunity to prevent diabetes. We do, with our diet, with our lifestyle. We talked about this a few weeks ago. It's called lifestyle medicine, right? So using your lifestyle to create an antidote before you even have an issue. So a protective measure would be choosing the correct foods, making sure you're getting enough sleep, making sure you're taking care of your brilliant body, making sure you're honoring your brilliant body, right? Yes, there are yummy foods. Yes, there are additives in our foods, but I'm not talking about every once in a while. I'm not talking about having pizza, here and there. I'm talking about when you've made this a daily practice to not nourish your body. Everyone knows that pizza is not the most nutritionally dense food. However, if you go to an authentic restaurant, you're probably going to get the best quality bread. You're going to get the best quality tomato sauce, right? It's probably homemade. It's probably made from real ingredients, right? It's got good stuff in it. You're probably going to get a very well-made cheese. You're probably going to get the best type of meat or whatever meat product you get on top. So those are two different products I'm talking about. So that's why I'm constantly telling you all, I am not a hater. I know food is good. It's meant to be enjoyed. But what I want you to begin to think about is what businesses have created and what foods actually are intended to do. Foods are supposed to be giving us nutrition in order to go about our day, in order to go about our purpose. You and I were talking about purpose, right? So go about your day, following your purpose, do what you're supposed to do, get the shit done, like take care of yourself, take care of your family, build those dreams, build those businesses, build those communities, whatever that burning passion. Your food is literally supposed to be like your little water bottle of nutrients that you have at all times. And when you need it, you tap in. That's what it's supposed to be. That's why we have our stomach. Our stomach doesn't just start processing immediately. There's a storage process that happens. The food gets in there, we get full, we feel the fullness. Those nutrients are stored in there and they're kind of divvied out. We need a little more energy here. We need a little more water here. Let's get that B12. Let's see what she gave us in order to work with here. That's what your stomach is for. Now, the gift that we have as human beings is we get to enjoy. We have this tongue, we get flavors and tastes, and we get people that we're talking to and people that we're enjoying. We have atmosphere, right? Smells and thoughts and conversation over our drinks and our dinner. So it's a full cumulative experience. But the basics, we're supposed to be nourishing our body. That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's the reason to eat. It's not because you're bored. It's not because you have nothing to do. It's not because you saw something on TV. It's not because you were triggered. It's not because you're emotionally in pain. The point is to nourish your body so that you can proceed in your purpose, whatever that purpose is. But we're missing it. So, Big Pharma has figured out, Food and Drug Administration has figured out. Also, what else was I going to say? Oh, businesses have figured out, hey, there's money in this. So let's make this as cheaply as we can, as flavorsome as we can, with whatever fillers and sugars, right? And all that other stuff that's not really beneficial for our bodies. Let's get that involved, because then these people will be addicted to this food and they're not going to really think about the point is for this to be nourishing to the body. And that's what we do, right? We get addicted to foods. A lot of us don't want to admit that or find it difficult to admit that because we think, what do you mean I'm addicted to candy? It's just candy. I don't have to eat it all the time. It's just yummy. I'm going to eat it. I enjoy it. But think about that. You can go through withdrawals. I told you guys about sugar. Sugar is 8 times, you can look it up, 8 times more addictive than cocaine, right? And it doesn't even specify crack or the other type. It doesn't specify. And these are studies, these are peer-reviewed studies, they're published studies, medical studies. I'm not making this stuff up, you guys. These are not just, folklore and I'm trying to scare you. That's not what I'm saying here. You can look it up. You can type it into your computer and there are going to be medical studies that come up because it triggers the same pleasurable experience that drugs trigger in the brain. So that's why you see, like we said before, you and I have talked about it, kids be acting crazy, right? And you're like, what is wrong with you? But it is a serious situation. So don't be so quick to be like, hey, I'm gonna whoop you or I'm gonna pop you or you're gonna go on punishment. There is something actually going on. There is a triggering experience that's happening from them possibly getting some sugar. And it's not always from the things that we see or we think. It's a lot of the things that we don't know about. I looked up, I had a client and we were looking over what she was eating during the week because we were just trying to teach her how to read labels. There were so many items that had like 1 to 2 grams of sugar for no reason. Like, wow. Why does this need to be in here? Like, why does it need to be in pasta? Like, it didn't make any sense to me. And she actually had something that was supposed to be, I don't even have it anymore. It was a fruit. It was supposed to be just mashed like fruit, just quick and easy on the go. like just a fruit cup, but not a preservative of fruit cup. So it was in the right section. It had the right marketing. Remember, I told you guys about marketing. So of course it's in this clear package, it's glass. So you're automatically like, ooh, that's a higher quality food. It's in glass, right? Remember, these are businesses, so they're becoming aware. So, and then it has like, you know, the little, like the brown paper bag. So it looks like it's eco-friendly, right? So the writing's in green. So I'm like, oh, this might be a good quality product. All that sugar that was in it, I couldn't believe
Wow.
it. So it was supposed to be like some natural fruit on the top, and they left the skin on the apple. So you again, you're like, wow, this looks like something I made at home, right? Then the little yogurt at the bottom was vegan. I was like, this looks great. It's so cute, and it's got vegan in the little wrapper. It looks like somebody made it at home. It was like 20 teaspoons of sugar. I was like, oh, what is that? What is that? And of course, the grams is going to be much less. But when you look it up, when you do the math, when you know what you're supposed to be looking for, you can see how you can easily be fooled, right? Because I really wanted to, even me, I wanted to believe this has to be a high quality product. It's in glass, tick, right? Mark that off. It looks like it has some eco friendly packaging, tick, mark that off. It says, please recycle. They're eco friendly, mark that off, right? I'm thinking this is so cute. Maybe I'm gonna buy this for myself. It's plant-based. They made sure they put a little leaf so you know we care about the earth, we care about your body. And they showed the little fruit. They left the skin on the fruit. So I'm thinking, okay, this seems like a good company. Turn it over, it's just sugar. Pretty much just sugar, which is going to cause your body to be out of balance. It's going to cause blood sugar issues. It's going to cause you to have insulin issues, which brings us back to diabetes, right? A lot of people, a lot of clients I get, and a lot of questions that I get are, I don't even know how I got diabetes, right? And do you remember, I don't know if you guys remember this, so chime in if you do. I remember there was a time where people did not have pre-diabetes, but all of a sudden there's so many people, like almost every single person that you know is, oh yeah, I measured for pre-diabetes. No big deal.
Yeah.
What do you mean it is no big deal? But pre-diabetes usually means you're well on track, because there has to be a certain level of blood sugar range that you fall into, which probably means just a little, boop, you're one meal away, and then you're going to be right over into diabetes. So many doctors don't even ask you about measures that you could take to stop it from tipping all the way over, or how's your eating right now, or what are you doing. The first thing they go to is shaming, and we talked about that last week. You need to lose some weight. It's not always about weight. The point of the possible issue with the weight could be is that you're undernourished. And I know that that sounds strange, but most of the issues that people who are really, really overweight or obese have is they are not getting enough nutritionally dense foods in their diets. So they're getting a lot of crappy food, which is going to be stored as fat, because our foods are loaded with fat and sugar. Sugar also metabolizes into fat. So it's really not, I'm not saying you guys need to be victimized. Anybody who's a little thick, guys, me too. It's normal. It's a part of life. But don't be so quick to be so judgmental of yourself, and don't be so difficult with yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. There's a lot of foods that aren't actually foods that we've been conditioned to eat. So we're eating a lot of things. So I understand when people are like, I don't even understand why I'm this weight or why I've gained so much fat, because sometimes it's not weight. You can be very, very lightweight and you can still have a high fat content in your body, a high fat percentage. So it's not about you feeling shamed or shameful about not getting the information or not having the information. What I've told you guys before is we are taught everything in our lives, right? We're taught to walk. Mom and dad practice. Mom, dad, they practice with you, right? They sit there, move your lips like this, right? Say please and thank you, right? This is how you hold your fork. This is how you have a conversation. We're even taught how to interrupt, right? Excuse me, dad, I need to talk to you, right? We're taught all of that stuff, but nobody sits down and says, hey, every time you eat, I want your plate to have this, and what's on the side needs to be a little sliver of meat. Because in other countries, and most blue zoned countries, right, meat, animal products are treated as a condiment or something special. Yes. Yeah. So it's on the side. So what are condiments for us? Ketchup and mustard, right?
Yeah.
So think about if you only ate chicken the size, or beef, or whatever flesh food that you like, the size of ketchup and mustard, and the rest of your plate was full of veggies. we wouldn't have
Wow.
any of the issues we're dealing with now, because there's respect. In other countries, there's respect, right? We're not just going to be killing everything. It took some time to kill this. It took some time to preserve it. They probably sacrificed it before they desired to eat it because it was a part of a ritualistic process. There's a consciousness, right? We only do one of these every month. We only kill one of these animals every month. And we're going to make sure we divvy all this food up so that we'll have enough for the rest of the month. But for us, it's about overconsumption. So treating meat or animal products as a condiment creates a different mindset, which is why a lot of blue zone communities aren't necessarily vegan, but they are plant-based. So plant foods are the majority of what they eat and side, right? Because it's not damaging to the body, it's not overwhelming to the body if it's not the main food. So really think cognitively about that, how you could be potentially growing diabetic responses in your body and in your children's bodies, because there are a lot of kids, and I know that people find talking about childhood obesity very touchy because nobody wants to say there's a fat kid or there's, a chubby kid or things like that, because they get made fun of, and it's not right. We shouldn't do that. But that's our society perpetualizing these types of treatment of children. Of course, kids are going to be a little bit thicker sometimes. Of course, they're going to be a little bit thinner sometimes. There's hormones, they're understanding what to eat, how to eat. There's more video games now. We don't play outside as much as we used to. They used to, right? Our generation, the street lights came on, it was time to go in. We were usually out there until the street lights came on, right? We didn't forego it. I wanted every single minute until the poop, and I was, I gotta go. I gotta go before I get in trouble. But our kids don't get the opportunity to do that. For one, it's not safe. It's not the same types of communities, right? Everybody's not looking out for each other's kids, right? We knew that our neighbors 2 doors down was going to be like, hey, Tanisha, the street lights came on. You better get your butt home. Go get your sister and go home, right? A lot of communities aren't like that anymore. And many of us don't want our kids out of our sight. And especially us as people of color, we definitely don't want our kids outside without somebody looking every 5 minutes, or no, just come in the house and play a game so I can see where you are, right? Because it's safer. You want to protect your kids. So they're not getting as much physical activity as also us as adults. We're often working. Now things are a lot different. We're working from home. So while we may be seated all day because we may be working from home, or we may not be employed, now we're exhausted mentally, because the time where we would usually be getting off work, our body automatically knows this is rest time. Let me chill. But we've been sitting all day, but we still need time to chill because we were working. So there are so many different things. It's increasing the sedentary lifestyle, and we're not getting as much activity as we usually do. Now the kids are getting even less because they're being schooled at home or on a computer. So I want you to really think about that. Our bodies are not getting enough nutrients, and they're not doing as much movement as they need in order to allow us to function optimally. We're not getting enough nutrients. We're not getting enough movement. Now we're being mandated to not get enough sunlight. Like, it's too much. Too many things. We need to be able to synthesize the vitamin D from the sun. Yes, I'm going to tell you guys there's some great products. I've mentioned some great products that will help you, but nothing. The best doctor is the sun and the earth and the moon and the foods that we eat and the nutrients that we get and the communities. Those are the best doctors. Those are the best supplements. Those are best nutrients. It's never going to be from a secondary source. Anything that comes in a bottle or a pill is supposed to help you fill in the gaps. It's not supposed to be the mainstay. It's not supposed to be the gold standard. It's always going to be best if you eat zucchini and you actually have zucchini, not zucchini powder in your shake. That's supposed to be helpful, but that's not going to be the gold standard. So yes, I tell you guys all the time, find something that works for you. But if you can, it needs to be fresh. It needs to be whole, and it needs to get in your body. Your body recognizes it and will give you the nutritional density. It will absorb the nutritional density needed in order to allow you to function optimally. So let's talk a little bit more. So it is being said to us that people with diabetes, or who are at risk for diabetes, have a higher susceptibility to contracting COVID because of, we talked about this before, you guys, the inflammatory responses in your body. So diabetes is highly inflammatory because there are some insulin issues, there could be some absorption issues, there's imbalances in your blood, so your pH levels are off. There are so many, like, there's subtle things, but because they're all together happening, it can overwhelm your body, and it's causing a cumulative issue, which is causing the prediabetes or the diabetes 1. Even diabetes 1, I know a lot of you are like, what is she talking about? You can be born with it. You absolutely can be born with it, but it's still an autoimmune disease. If it's an autoimmune disease, that means it's from your immune system, which comes from inflammation. So we talked last week about transgenerational inflammation. We as Black people are more susceptible to that because of the centuries of slavery. So our genetic DNA, our cellular anatomy responds to stress a lot differently, not a little differently. So it's very, very easy for us to be pushed right over into inflammation or to already be inflamed as soon as we're born. And no, it doesn't automatically show up. But depending on the genealogy and the legacy that you come from, your bloodline, you can be very inflamed as a baby while you're growing in your mom. And there are things that you will need to be doing as an adult, as an infant, as a child, as an adult. There are things that you will probably need to implement, put in place to make sure that you are constantly releasing all of that inflammation and toxicity that you've inherited. So it doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you're born with a disease, but you have the propensity based upon your genetic DNA. And that's why I constantly tell you guys, yes, you can be susceptible to any and many things, but it depends on how you choose to live your life. It depends on how you choose to nourish your body. It depends on how you choose to find foods, find relationships, find people around you, find the knowledge, get the wealth of information, use, plant to your advantage because they are intended to heal you. That's why I'm constantly talking to you guys about making sure you're getting your essential oils. I talk about the Juice Plus brand. Those are awesome opportunities for you to kind of fill in the gaps. I am not saying that those need to be your life. I don't get up and put a powder in anything that I eat. If you guys see me make something with like protein shake or add some protein or add a powdery substance, it's probably every once in a while, but it's not a mainstay for me. And even when I was a personal trainer, because I was a personal trainer for, I think about a year and a half, 2 years, consistently, exclusively. Even when I did that, that was something that was very difficult for my clients because we've been primed to think in order to get this response from my body, I need to do these things. And that includes, let me get these powders, people just scoop them out and throw them in their mouth. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, like really think about your nutrition. I know that we've been taught this, and I know that it doesn't sound like it's that big a deal, but it really is. It really is. That's not nutrition. That's not something that's easily recognized by your body. It does cause inflammation in your body because your body instantly is going to respond from your immune system because that's not food. That's what I'm saying here. That's not food. Your body's like, what is that? Okay, she swallowed it. So I don't want to throw it back up because it kind of looks like vitamin B, but it's not really. So I'm going to process this as best I can, but it's not nutrition. So really think about that, you all. I know there's a lot of fitness communities. I know there are even holistic trainers that still want people to take powders, that still want you to take 2 scoops of this and 3 scoops of that, and then 1 scoop in the middle of your workout. And I get it. I know that there are certain, protocols and things like that if you want to look a certain way, but I'd rather you go for nutrition over aesthetics, because if your nutrition is right, you won't have to worry about your aesthetics. I promise you. I know that sounds strange, but these bodies are brilliant, you guys. Really, truly they are. Even when they are not functioning optimally, they are telling you something's wrong and this is what I need from you. So when you have issues like diabetes, that is an inflammatory response. You need to do what you need to do outside of medication. You can't just go and say, okay, well, what do I need to take? Think cognitively. How did I get here? What have I been eating? How have I been nourishing myself? If I continue to eat this way, is my diabetes going to progress? Why would you allow diabetes to progress? I mean, it is your choice. It is your body. If you're cool with that, then there's nothing I can really do. But if you truly want to heal your body, restore your body, and heal the inflammation and the inflammatory response that's going on, then you really need to rethink how you got there in the first place. That was the same thing that happened for me. I know you guys don't think that mental health is connected to your diet and nutrition, but it absolutely is. Think about this. Why are prisoners very, people who are in jail, they're very aggressive, right? They get the worst quality foods. And there have been many studies, again, you guys can look it up. There have been many studies where they've been able to grow their own food, create their own garden, create their organic food, and actually take it from farm to plate. And they began to see changes in those prisoners, changes in the people who were incarcerated, changes in the way that they began to respond to one another, changes in the way that they began to revere their own bodies and the choices that they made in their lives, because they were able to cognitively get all of the nutrients they need in order to make a better decision, right? And we see that even with kids, right? Even as adults, right? That blood sugar gets a little low, we start tripping. And they were like, wait, I need a time out, right? Right? I need to let me get some water, or I'm sorry I talked to you like that. I think I'm hungry. Yes, I'm hungry. I'm really sorry, right? I'm sorry for what I said. I was hungry, like I was off. So think about that on a larger scale, right? Think about that on a larger scale, because you can really, when your body is requesting anything from you, and I told you guys this last week, please don't think your body is just like, yeah, let's get fat, let's get unhealthy. Your body is asking for food because it needs to sustain you. So there's no reason. I'm telling you guys, the intermittent fasting, it comes from autophagy. Autophagy happens naturally. So you do not need to starve yourself to fit an aesthetic. Now, if you're doing it for religious reasons, if you're doing it for a cellular practice, those are much different energies. But if you're saying, I want to get into this shirt, this dress, these slacks in the next whatever amount of weeks, so I'm not going to eat until 2 p.m. every single day, think about the energy that you're putting into that. You're not nourishing your body, you're starving it. Think about what would happen if you just chose to flood your body with full, whole food nutrition. Every time it's time to eat, the most high quality, dense foods that you can get, just a really good meal. Listen to your body, chew your food, don't overeat. If you do, make sure it's a little more veggies, right? Use those animal products as a condiment, get you a couple slices of chicken, just some slices. And make sure your belly is mostly full with vegetables. Have some dessert, get you some fruit, make you a little smoothie or something, right? A little mocktail. Have a good old sleep, right? Instead of starving your body. Get you some warm water in the morning with some lemon in it. Choose to consciously nourish your body instead of trying to punish your body because it doesn't fit an aesthetic. I promise you, it's a much better pursuit. You'll feel better, you'll honor your body, and you will get to whatever your goal was probably faster and more healthy. All right, so blood sugar, balancing your blood sugar. So a couple things. Now, when you get a diagnosis for diabetes, prediabetes, diabetes 1, and insulin resistance, it is because there has been an ongoing established eating habit. So that's what's usually happened there. Now, of course, with type 1, that's a little bit different because there was an inflammatory response that was turned on, most likely by sustainable life practices. Juvenile is a little bit different, but it can also be because the way that child had been nourished, right? The parents didn't know. Maybe it was something the parents did. You guys remember, we talked about this before. So you don't necessarily get taught wellness, right? Let's just all admit that. We don't get taught wellness. We emulate or we recreate what was in our household, right? So for me, I'll tell you guys this. So Saturday mornings, I was an 80s baby. Saturday mornings is cartoons and cereal, right? That's what I'm doing. That's what's supposed to happen. So even as an adult, I still find myself like in some Saturday mornings, I just want some cartoon and I want to watch me some Afro Samurai, or I want to watch some DuckTales on Disney or something, right? You just feel that it's comforting, right? But the cereals I used to eat, y'all, I cannot believe. I'm so grateful that I know right now, the things that I know, right? Because there are so many other different options for one, but thinking about how much sugar I was putting in my system and then I was dousing it with milk that made me feel sick. This becomes an ongoing practice, right? And even begins to create memories for yourself. So then you think that that's what you're supposed to do every Saturday morning, right? And then I started to realize how much, I look at the cereals now, I think they're worse now, but they might not be, I just might be a different person, but there's so much sugar, right? So much sugar, even in our milks, there's so much sugar. I remember looking at labels as a child, kind of glancing because I didn't really know what was going on, but why is everybody making such a big fuss about this little box of lines and numbers? Like, I don't get it. But I don't ever remember there being so much added sugar in milk as there is now. There's such an extreme amount, even in plant milks, you guys, because I don't want you to be deceived. These companies are getting very aware that people like me are talking and people like y'all are listening. So they're starting to make plant milks. Plant milks are not sweet naturally. So then all of a sudden they're like, oh, let's just put some, just put a little bit of natural cane sugar in it. Just tell them it's natural. So they're like dumping all this sugar. You just drinking some cashew Kool-Aid. Like, that's it. Right? You remember the Kool-Aid? You put all the sugar, you keep pouring. It's the same thing with our plant milks. So you really have to be vigilant about looking at the label, seeing what's in it, making sure it's not with all these other fillers and preservatives, because that happens now too. They dump other stuff in it, lecithins and gums and all kinds of stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll teach you guys a little bit more. Maybe we can go into it a little bit later. There are some things that are actually beneficial for your body. Guar gum is a natural source. I'm sorry, not guar gum. Agar gum is a natural source. Okay, comes from corn. Make sure it's not GMO and not highly processed. It's just a thickener, so it's just like cornstarch. Okay. And then there is carrageenan, but it's controversial because it comes from seaweed, which is beneficial for the body. However, when it's highly processed, it can be damaging to the body and cause inflammation. So you really have to be careful about even the products, because they know, oh, if they're smart, if they're woke, they're going to know that this is seaweed. But the way that we process it is actually something else. You guys have to really, sadly and unfortunately, you got to have your own back. You really do when you get into the stores, even in the health food section, because I told you that example with the fruit on top of the yogurt. It looked like it was supposed to be healthy. It said the right things on the outside. The packaging seemed to appeal to someone who would care about eco-friendly and health, and then it was full of sugar. So really be careful about that. I'm gonna give you guys a couple different names for sugar since we're talking about that. I didn't even think about that till right now. So I'm gonna give you a listing. Let me see if I can find it while we're talking. A listing of different types of names that they call sugar. So it makes it look less intimidating, so that you kind of can know what you're looking out for. So write them down, watch this video again, so that when you get to the store, you won't be fooled. Because even in the beginning for me as well, I was like, oh, okay, they got oat milk, they got plant milk, they got this milk. And I was getting it home and I was like, this is sugar. This is syrup. Why did they do this? What am I supposed to do with this? So you really have to be very careful. There are some really good companies now. I do make my own plant milks now because things were super frustrating for me and I prefer certain types. But it really doesn't have to go that far. I know a lot of you don't have time. I don't have any babies here at the house with me. It's just me, family of one. I'm cooking for myself. But I completely understand, because when I had my niece, there's more time. There's just more time when there's another person that needs you. So I completely understand that you don't necessarily have all of the time to make your own plant milks and make your own yogurt and do all that kind of stuff. I got you. I got all kinds of tips and tricks and things. Head over to One Brilliant Body and check out some of the videos I put up, as well as I'm offering free consultations till the end of the year, y'all. They're not going to be free next year, but we can have a conversation. We can get some things in order for you. I'm going to be offering a couple of different plans. We're going to do some 10-day resets just to show you that this is not hard. It's just a priority. And if you believe that you matter, because I believe that you matter, and if we can get on the same page, I will show you what you can do that will be very easy and fit into your lifestyle and create a whole lot of abundance and sustainability for you. Okay, so let me type in the sugar list, but let me go over a little bit more while that's coming up.
Yeah, you know what? I was just really thinking about while you're looking that up. I was just thinking about when you were talking about people being pre-diabetic and
Yeah,
how on track, right? It's like the FDA is setting you up
they
on a
absolutely,
path
absolutely.
of because they know that if we can give them the sugar, give them the
Mhm,
sugar, give them the sugar,
mhm.
in the long run, we're going to be able to support
To reap.
the big drug industry to put you on these drugs. So we're just going to keep the money flowing. We're going
You're
to keep our
absolutely
money.
right.
That's it. They're just setting you up.
You're absolutely, and I'm so glad you said that because the same way I'm asking y'all to invest in your health, the government is investing in your illness. Think about that,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
They're investing in your illness because they know they're going to get a return. She's gonna get cancer. She's gonna get sick. She's gonna get some stomach cancer, some colon cancer, some diabetes. Diabetes is gonna put her on the track for renal disease. Then she's gonna need a transplant. We're gonna give her about 2 of those. That's gonna be a half a mil, right? And then we're gonna send her the bill, right? Quality of life is
Yep.
gonna be messed up, right? Insurance is gonna be billed up the butt. They're gonna have to figure out how to pay it. Oh well, right? That's how it goes. It's a whole, like you said, it's a whole plan. They are invested in you getting sick to the point where they're willing to hide things in your food. That's some sad stuff. That's really
Yeah.
sad. Which is why I'm constantly telling you guys to invest in your health, which is why this voice, investing in your health, is so small. But the investing in your illness, they don't talk about that because we're going to
Yeah.
plan and make it look like that's not what we're doing. Because now I'm going to change my packaging, right? I'm going to all of a sudden make plant milk, even though it has the same content of sugar as candy. Those types of things, like it's
Yeah.
ridiculous, and it's really frustrating because I really truly believe that many of us go to the store and we're thinking like, oh, okay, Cheerios, because that's our first pincher food, right? If you're a millennial, you remember, right? That's your first pincher food. You learn as soon as they tell you, oh, okay, buy them some Cheerios. That's what the doctor used to say, so they can learn how to pick up the Cheerios, right? It's a sweet memory. And we did it for our babies, right? Like, oh, you get the Cheerio, you got it, you did it. Let me have some, right? So it comes from these beautiful memories, but then you look at the back of the box and you're like, wait a minute. I thought these have
Yeah.
no sugar in them. They don't taste like they have sugar, but they absolutely do. And
Mm.
right, they're investing in your illness right from the beginning. They don't care. They don't care about that
Mm.
sweet baby. Not the way you do. They
Yeah.
care about their investment. So you're absolutely right.
Mm. Wow. Investing
So y'all,
in
if you have
your
any questions, if you're on still watching, go ahead and ask. I'm here. Let me see what we got. Oh, there you are. I don't see any questions or comments right now. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull up this list. I think I have it in my email. And then we'll talk. Actually, let's do that so we don't slow it down.
Okay.
Okay, so people with any type of diabetes, well, let's talk about pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes. So you're automatically going to be at risk for cardiovascular issues. Cardiovascular disease, I should say, not issues, and issues. So what they're called are comorbidities of diabetes. So I know me, I'm using the big fancy words again, y'all. Please don't, I'm about to explain it to you. So co with morbidities, something that will kill you. So additional things that will kill you because you have diabetes or because you're at risk for diabetes, okay? So when a doctor says that, they usually use those words, they don't explain them to you. Don't let that fly over your head. Comorbidities associated with is what they're supposed to actually say so that you can kind of connect the dots. So if you ever hear that word comorbidities, it means other things that could kill you because you are now at risk for whatever it is. So that could be HIV, just like, let's say AIDS is a comorbidity of HIV. You guys get that? So HIV happens, and then it can go all the way into AIDS, which could cause you death, right? So I really want you guys to think about that. So let's go with end-stage renal disease is a comorbidity of diabetes, okay? So that's how bad it could get. Maybe that'll help you guys. So if you hear that word, if you hear comorbidities of heart disease would be a heart attack, right? So I really want you guys, remember I said I'm here to educate you. I want you to be able to go in there and have the information and not be confused. Okay, so respiratory diseases, lung cancer is a comorbidity of smoking. Okay, Good. All right, so we're good there. So comorbidities associated with type 2 diabetes would be cardiovascular diseases. Comorbidities associated with being overweight would be cardiovascular and diabetes, right? So diabetes, high blood pressure, those are additional comorbidities, fertility issues, both men and women. Also aneurysms, blood clots, cholesterol, any other type of inflammatory issues that could be going on, autoimmune diseases, all of that can come from a blood sugar imbalance. And that's where diabetes is usually based in a long-term sustainable blood sugar issue that continued and continued and continued, continued and continued and continued. And it was never healed, it was never addressed. You probably didn't have a conversation with your doctor, medical professional. And remember, I told you guys about my issues that I had diagnosis. It had happened, and then I was just told, oh, it's elevated, it's no big deal. Why are you allowing it to elevate and you're not giving me the opportunity to resolve it before it turns into something else? So that's why I'm telling you guys, don't just trust whatever they're saying. It's elevated, it's no big deal. No. Why is it elevated? What does that come from? What is it associated with? What are the comorbidities? Bust out the big words on them. What are the comorbidities associated with my elevated whatever? Because you need to get that information. You need to be able to have those types of conversation on their level. Now it's going to be telehealth right now. So if you're having a telehealth appointment like this with your doctor, open that Google up and type it in. I don't understand what that means. Wait, are you saying that this is what I have? Share your screen. I really want you guys to be vigilant about taking care of your bodies. Okay, don't just sit there. Don't be confused. Don't be embarrassed. This is your brilliant body. You get to live in this body and you get to take care of it and honor it in the way that you desire. The same way we want our, big old house or maybe our tiny house, the same type of protection that you have for those types of environments. I want you to do even more for your body. Okay, so because of the cardiovascular comorbidities that are associated with diabetes, it is very, very essential for you to choose to protect your cardiovascular system and your respiratory system. Okay, so this is why you all need to wear masks even more in particular. And I know I tell you guys to make your own decision, but this is an opportunity and a time where I'm telling you to make that decision. So if you're already having blood sugar issues, which is causing you cardiovascular issues, which is going to relate to having respiratory issues, you absolutely need to have a mask on. If you're choosing not to address the excess fat in your body and it's causing you other health issues, it's causing you comorbidities associated with obesity, then again, you need to wear a mask because you are immunocompromised. I'm not saying you're not beautiful. I'm not saying you're not fine. I am saying you have a high amount of fat, which means you have a high amount of inflammation, which means you could very easily die from comorbidities associated with COVID and or your weight issues. So I really want you guys you need to be honest with yourself. Now, if it's something you don't want to change, that's fine. But if you want to live, you need to protect yourself. Wear your mask or address the weight issues. Wear your mask or address the inflammation in your body. But what I'm saying to you, I've told you guys before, focus on your nutrition. That's the only goal here. Focus on your nutrition because everything else will fall into alignment. Everything else will fall into place because nutrition is where it starts. So you could not be getting enough nutrition. That could be the reason for having the excess fat in the body or being overweight. Because when you're not getting enough nutrition, your body is imbalanced. Your body is also inflamed. When you are inflamed, you're going to hold on to more fat. Remember, I told you before, toxicity in our environments is stored in our fat cells, which means you are highly toxic. Okay, so I know that the quick fix would be to get a detox that's a pill. You need to actually do a true detox, which would mean to change your diet, change your lifestyle, get moving, do some movement, walk around the block, walk to the park, do a little bit something else. Maybe get out in that parking lot or get out in your garage, walk with some friends. When you listen to me, I've heard some people do that. When you watch it, walk around the house, don't even sit down with me. Let me sit and I'm gonna teach you, you do your little walk. Okay, so you really need to figure something out that works best for yourself. If you're home during the week, I know we're all feeling a little stir crazy, set up a little collision course, do a little workout in the living room, lift that couch up a couple times. You have to be creative and that's okay. But what you can't do is sit and not Give your body what it needs in order for it to allow you to continue to get through this. You want to protect yourself and you want to build and strengthen your brilliant body to get through this. So monitoring your blood glucose. I know a lot of you may not know how to do this. If you do have diabetes, it's something that you're required to do. But if you don't and you're concerned, or if you just want to know where you are in regards to your blood glucose, just monitor it. I have a blood, it's called a glucometer. You can monitor your blood and see where you are. And it's very good for you to do it before you possibly have issues, because you can figure out what's going on before your doctor does. And didn't I tell you that's your responsibility? Right? So you can be the proactive one. Hey, I've been tracking my blood sugar for 6 days. 3 out of those 6 days, I was high when I woke up. Can you tell me what's going on here? You can track it out. What did I eat the night before? Did I eat 12 hours in, or did I eat 8 hours after? You can begin to learn your brilliant body. Remember, I told you that that's your responsibility. That's your gift. So the doctor's not going to just be like, it's elevated. Here, take this pill, right? Because that's what they're taught to do. They're taught to get the symptoms and give you a diagnosis. So I'm not saying they're stupid, but they're doing what they're trained to do. So if you keep telling me, hey, my blood sugar's elevated for 3 days, I'm gonna be like, okay, let me check the other things. I'll type this in. Okay, this says that you have, right? Because it's what they're taught to do. And then they said that since you have that, now I got to give you this because this will help regulate you. But you don't want that. You want to actually be a part of your process. You want to be a part of your healing. You want to understand what's going on with your body so that you can reverse it and heal your body. So that's what I'm saying. If you have the opportunity, you don't need a prescription. You can buy them off Amazon. Get you a glucometer. Check your blood sugar. If you suspect something's going on, if you suspect an imbalance, for sure get one. So just a little prick. You can do some now that are, you can do it here and it doesn't hurt. And then also right there on your ear, you can get a little bit of blood from there. It doesn't hurt at all. So I know it's weird because this way hurts, right? But right along this little end here, it doesn't hurt. Just a little poke, get a little bit of blood, you put it in the machine, it tells your blood sugar. You want to do it fasting. So I would say after you get 8 hours of sleep, and then, before you do your first meal. So that 12-hour detox, then you do it as soon as you wake up, okay? Make sure it's 12 hours from the last meal that you've eaten. Now, the first day you're going to be like, I don't even know what this is, but I'm going to write it down. That's normal. But what I want you to look for is a trend. So do a whole 10 days and see what it is. Like I said, I am going to be doing some things where I want to offer you guys some opportunities to do a 10-day challenge with me so that this can become a normal practice. You need to develop a new practice, a new ritual for caring for your body. Our government has already proven that they cannot be trusted. And this is not the first time. But I think many of you are outraged enough to where you're truly ready to prioritize your health and wellness. And I want to be able to help and support you while you're doing that. So yes, checking your blood sugar, making sure you monitor it. Now, again, don't get in there 3 days and then freak out. I want you to do a trend. So I want you to do 10 days, maybe do a whole month, and then look it all over. If you don't know what you're looking at, y'all, my consultations are free until the end of the month. Hit me up. Hey, I did your little challenge. I don't know what it is, but I got you 30 different days, and I need you to tell me what this means. I got you. That's what I'm here for. All right, so monitoring your blood glucose, making sure you're eating properly, making sure you're getting a balanced meal. Now, I want you to think about this. So I'm not going to give you the answer. I want you to think about it, and then we're going to talk about it. So if our Food and Drug Administration work hand in hand, we already know that, right? So if our Food and Drug Administration is now saying, here is the picture of the perfect plate, United States of America, are we going to trust that? Absolutely not, right? Absolutely not, because y'all work together. So you're going to tell me something that's giving me a prescription where you are investing into my illness. So your plate does not look like what I want my plate to be, because your agenda for me is to not allow me to have a nourished, healthy, and wealthy body. Your agenda for me is to overfeed me and then provide me with medication after I'm diagnosed with something because I turned on some of my epigenetic responses to a negative, okay? So all of that, I really need you all to think about what your core values are in regards to your brilliant body. What do you truly desire your body to allow you to accomplish? What do you truly desire your body to allow you to experience? So think about those things. I know it sounds super simple, and I know it seems like it doesn't make any sense. I promise you it will. Because once you decide, what do I want to experience in this brilliant body? You're going to make different decisions. Do I want to be a mom? Do I want to be a dad? Right? Do I want to jet ski? Do I want to live in a different country? Do I want to be able to travel all over the world? Those are different goals, right? So all of them require a level of health and wellness in order to sustain this new life that we've envisioned for ourselves, those core values. Is there going to be a high level of integrity in my life? Do I want that same integrity on my plate? Absolutely, right? Do I want non-GMO, non-hormones, non-antibiotic foods? I'm going to take those into my body as well, right? It makes no sense for you guys to be focused on, I'm going to get the vaccine, and then all of a sudden you still drinking soda for breakfast and Monster to keep going throughout the day, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Either way, I've told you guys several times, whether you choose to take the vaccine or not, you still have a responsibility to your health and wellness. You have to.
Yeah.
So you have to choose to align your lifestyle, your plate that you choose, the people in your life has to align with your core values, because then that's going to give you a different why. Your why is going to be different than mine, which is going to allow you the opportunity to constantly prioritize it because it's yours. It means something to you. It provides you with what you need in order to progress in life the way that you desire to. And if this does not mean that you want to live with diabetes, if that means you do not want to live with COVID, then this is what I'm saying. Now is the time for you to choose to prioritize your health and wellness. It doesn't mean adhering to a diet. I really want you all to let that go. Diets are not intended for you to create a lifestyle of them. That's not what they're for. The word diet actually means way of life, which means the way that you eat is going to be different than mine. The way that you're permitted to nourish yourself is going to be different from mine because our epigenetic responses are different. That is why we're having these types of conversation. That's why I want you to sit down and write out what your core values are. And then once you see those core values, I will help you to figure out how they align with what you choose on your plate. Some of it's going to be very clear. Some of it'll just jump up off your little paper that you're writing on. Oh, well, that makes sense. Why am I eating that? Or why am I eating like that? Think about some of the companies and organizations that we're choosing, to even purchase from. Many of us will turn to farmers markets because I told you guys, I think that was a month ago, 2 months ago, our food supply was going to change. I know you guys have noticed the food is crappy right now, right? The sweet potatoes are right, right. Fruits don't taste like fruit.
Orange, I had an apple. I mean, it was no flavor at all.
Yep. Yep. You don't know what it is, right? And it's frustrating. Your body's like, what is that? Right? Like, this is supposed to taste like fruit, and it doesn't. I'm so grateful to be able to have the opportunity to have a garden at home. You guys, if you want to learn how to garden at home, I do not live in a house. I live in a studio. So I can tell you how to grow it anywhere. You guys hit me up. Let me get you set up with a tower garden so you can start to grow your own fruits and vegetables at home. Farm to table feels so amazing. You feel so accomplished and you feel like you're nourishing your body, because our foods are not the best right now. They're anywhere from a couple months preserved all the way up to a year preserved, which is why, yes, they're super crappy, rotten, dry, extra small, right? I was looking at a jicama and I was like, that looks like an apple. Like, wait a minute. I was so frustrated. So yes, farmers markets are where you need to be. You guys, and farmers markets are better because not only are you sowing back into your community, but you're also allowing yourself to connect with actual people who chose to grow these fruits and vegetables, right? They're proud of their stuff. They don't treat you like big pharma. They're like, oh, I use the best, manure or whatever they use. I use the best soil. We actually plant and mix our soils together. Let me tell you about my process. My family's been doing this for 15 years, right? They're very, very, there's love put into that food. Like, they're just not just sitting out there like, yeah, buy what you want. Yeah, pick what you want. They want to tell you about those zucchinis. They want to tell you how many harvests they've had from that zucchini plant. They want to tell you that they went and traveled and picked that specific genus of zucchini and they grew it and they brought it here and they want to chop it up and let you taste it, right? That's good stuff. That's the type of relationship you want, right? So you want to know that you're getting the most nutritionally dense options in your body that you can. So I really want you to think about that. Our stores are businesses. Remember, we talked about this. A farmer, yes, it is a business, but there's a different integrity, right? There's a different energy that goes into that, right? When they bring those foods to a farmer's market, think about that. That's going out there and picking, bagging all that stuff up, wiping it off so it looks pretty because they got to compete with these big stores, right? They want you to buy it. They know it's more nutritionally dense. They're trying to convince you. They care about their food. Where in the store, if you're like, these zucchinis are Peasley, they're like, and like,
Yeah.
they're 2 for $1. You want 4? Like, get out of here. Like, don't care. They really don't care. They really don't, right? So think about that. I really want you to think, if you bring them back, then be like, okay, you want some more? Like, they don't even care. They don't look like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry you got, this terrible food or fruit or whatever. If you tell them this fruit tastes like nothing, they're going to be like, okay, you want a different brand? They don't care because that's not their agenda. That's not their goal. Their goal is to maintain their business. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want you guys to get upset with them. I don't want you guys to get an attitude. Don't go protest in Stater Brothers or Kroger or wherever it is that you go, but choose to get the information that you get from whoever it is and make a better decision for yourself. Make the best decision for yourself. Okay. And that could include growing your own garden, maybe planting some things so you can get some goodies next summer or winter, or hitting up a farmer's market. But I promise you, it's such an awesome opportunity to be in a farmer's market. I love it. They have the best foods. Or there's so many online right now. You can get like farmers boxes. You can get imperfect fruits. You can get exotic fruits. You can get whatever it is that you need. So there's so many different options that can suit you. But we're used to the instant gratification. But again, I want you to think of the energy, even in us creating these Winners Wealth every single week. We are not getting the information we need in order to make the best decisions. So now that we're demystifying that, it's allowing us the opportunity to really think cognitively about how I want to nourish my body, how I choose to nourish my body. What do I need to do? What my responsibilities are, right? Because we used to just think my responsibility is to eat and drink and sleep and die whenever that day comes, right? But now we understand, oh, I get to choose the levels that happen in between there. I get to choose the type of health and wellness I choose to live in, I desire to live in. I get to choose in order to be the best parent, sister, mother, wife, brother, cousin, uncle, right? We get the choice. All right, so making sure you're getting enough water. Again, I know that it's connected, and it's probably because of the blood sugar issues actually dehydrating a lot of our organs. But this is why, and it's, your kidneys as well, it's incredibly damaging to your excretory system. So this is why people who are diabetic are often very, very, very dehydrated, right? They always want some water, but their body's swollen, right? So they're not processing, they're not balancing their electrolytes, their blood is very, very severely diminished, right? It's not the best quality. They can go all dialysis happens a lot. A lot of people can even feel when they need the dialysis, their whole filtration of their body is completely off. And they're like constantly in danger, like walking time bombs. And that has to feel horrible. Gout can happen. They can lose limbs. You guys think about that. Think about how easily it is to control your blood sugar, but all of those comorbidities that are associated with you insisting on eating at McDonald's every night or Taco Bell every night or another chalupa or whatever. Like, think about that. And I'm not hating on your food. I want you to have the best quality foods. Seriously. But if it's going to cost you a toe or a foot in like 20 years, it's not worth it. It really isn't. Right? It's not worth it.
Sight.
Yeah, it's not worth it. And then I've talked with so many people who really think that it just runs in their family. I want you guys to know that it doesn't. It doesn't. The susceptibility runs in your family. But you making the choice, you have 100% control over what goes in your mouth. You're an adult. Even if you're addicted, you still have 100% choice. You do. Because you can say, this is it, that stops. I'm going to have to figure something else out. And meal by meal, bite by bite, I'm going to get better at this. I need to be perfect at this. Or I need to be the best at this. I need to make better decisions for myself. So I really don't want you to feel victimized. I feel so bad when I hear people talk about, well, I'm just stuck in this body. This is what it's going to be. You don't have to live like that. It doesn't have to be that way. So choose life. Yeah, really choose life. Choose what you want to, you desire for yourself. All right, so we talked about blood glucose. Okay, so diabetes also tends to intensify I guess, the responses of COVID. So I talked to my friend a little bit earlier today. So there are 7 different strains of COVID, which is why, another reason why I do not think anyone should seriously consider a vaccine, because why would you make one vaccine for 7 different strains that you're not telling us about? How's that going to work? Right? And COVID actually responds differently in so many different bodies. However, it does have the propensity or the desire to nestle into our respiratory organs and cause a lot of havoc, damage, inflammation, all kinds of issues. And that's where people are getting onto ventilators and having all other types of problems. So I really want you all to think about fortifying your body in a way that's going to allow you the opportunity to continue to avoid. We're coming into contact now. I know I'm not trying to scare you guys. We're coming into contact with COVID every single day. We are, you guys. And your body is doing an amazing job of fighting it off. But if you continue to do things the way that you have been doing them, if you continue to not be cognitive about what it is that you're choosing to bring into your body, you could be at risk. You are at risk. So if you're not being conscious and you know that you're avoiding it because you're making these best choices for yourself every single day, wearing your mask, making sure you get enough nutritional density, not doing things that are inflammatory to your body, making sure that you move your body, making sure you're getting enough water. Guys, I know it sounds like a big long list, but you're an adult. You'll be fine. These are normal things that you're doing every single day, every day. Okay? You're doing them anyway. So if you're not drinking water, you're drinking soda or juice or something you're not supposed to be drinking. I can't believe there's still a line at Starbucks sometimes. And they think they're good because it's still 6 feet away. Like Starbucks, I love me some Starbucks. I love me some coffee. But that was every once in a while, because seriously, there's like a half a cup to a cup of sugar in every single thing that you buy, right? That's why it's so yummy, because it's sugar. But if you're constantly doing that to yourself every single day, especially during this time, and think about this too. Think about all those wonderful companies that we loved before, and they were making all their money and you were enjoying all of their brilliant drinks. If none of those companies have created at least one menu item that supports your immune system, I want you to think about their agenda. Think about that, right? Think about that. Because there's one place that I used to go to a lot, and I only had them blend fruits and vegetables for me, and they did it. But they still haven't made like an immunity drink or an immunity boost. And that lets me know your agenda. Whereas the other place that I go to, they have an elderberry, what is it? It's elderberry and ginger drink. They're trying, right? Right? They're trying. It's elderberry ginger smoothie, right? It has no, there's no animal product in it. There's no milk product. They called it their special. They didn't call it a COVID special. I'm sure they wanted to. That would have been cute. I would have still bought it. But think about that. Think about these companies that are actually trying to support you, that are aligning with the times, not companies that are still making their little, no shade, but nobody made a pumpkin latte smoothie with ginger in it, right? When we should be having ginger, right? We should be having ginger. We should have had a little turmeric shot, right? So I'm just saying, if Starbucks really loved me, really cared about my health and wellness, they would have said, every time you buy a pumpkin latte smoothie, I'm gonna give you a ginger shot, right? They didn't care. They didn't care. So I'm not saying don't feel bad if you still love you some Starbucks, but I'm just saying, look at these companies for what they are. They're businesses. Okay? They're businesses. So if they really don't care to acknowledge what's going on and do their part in assisting you, do you really still need to be standing in their lines? Or do we need to put that money towards creating a better, healthy, more sustainable nutritional plan for ourselves? That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Not hating on your stuff. I love me some Starbucks too. But I promise you, I thought about that. I was like, I wonder how they're going to make like a ginger latte, because that would make more sense, or a turmeric latte. So that would be like, thank you, Starbucks. You're trying to take care of me. Nope. They were like, you're going to get this pumpkin spice latte and we're going to get your money, which is fine. Which is fine. They're a business. But I really respected the other place that I went to, knowing that they've never had anything like that. Elderberry ginger smoothie. I was like, that's so sweet. You guys care, right? I kind of felt like, oh, you guys care. You're not trying to kill people. You're trying to get my money, but you're trying to get my money in a respectable manner. I'll take it.
Yeah.
So really think about that. Okay. So yes, making sure that, so with diabetes also, you often have gastrointestinal issues and you also have constipation. So you can either have constipation or you can have extreme amounts of diarrhea, either way. And this is because your blood, your excretory system is off. You're probably very, very swollen, which means you have a lot of inflammation in your body, which can create additional inflammation in your body because now you're either not pooping enough, so you have backed up toxicity, or you're pooping so much and it's just liquid and you're actually damaging and irritating the mucosal lining in your body, which puts you at a higher susceptibility as well. So again, when your body is imbalanced in sugars, you really have to look at the subtle things that are going on in your body because it doesn't all happen at once, right? Your blood sugar kind of goes up. You kind of see as you're tracking, you're going to kind of see what's going on with your body. Then you need to check on your poop. Then you need to check on your pee, guys. I know you guys, there's a whole lot of work. You do it anyway. So now you can do it cognitively. You do it anyway. You just don't think about it. So put it in your phone, get you a little app that will track, did I poop today? What did it look like? Tap your little couple buttons, and at the end of the week, take that blood sugar, that I told you to look at, and look at that. This day, my blood sugar was high and I was constipated. Oh, maybe that goes together. And like I said, if you don't know what you're looking at, I'm doing free consultations. Just hit me up. What does this mean? Do I need to go to the doctor? Do I need to change my diet? What is your recommendation? Like, that is what this is for. I want you to have the knowledge to get the information so that you can heal your body. And especially so you can address something before it turns into something. You don't want to have had the opportunity to heal or reverse something, and now it's going to be even more difficult. And then people often get very, very frustrated. I've had this conversation with many people. We work together and then they're like, I don't understand why this isn't healing yet or why it hasn't gone away yet. It probably took you 20, 30, 40 years to grow diabetes. Be gentle with your body, right? Be very gentle with your, it's a process. The same way it took you to gain weight. Gaining weight was not a pound at a time. It was little subtle, ounces at a time that you didn't even notice, right? So don't be mad at yourself. Don't be frustrated with yourself. Don't be down on yourself. Don't disrespect your body's process. It was just a process that you didn't understand. So be very, very honorable and respectful and be gentle with yourself. The process of healing, the process of reversing, you have to challenge what you thought to be normal. So it's not just a mental process, it's also a physical process because you're making a lot of changes in your lifestyle to support this now newfound core value, which is I want to live. And not only do I want to live, I want to thrive. I want to enjoy certain things. I want to be able to do whatever's on that list I told you guys to figure out. What do you want to do? How do you want to deliver your gift? You have a difference in understanding of who you desire to be. And now you're going to allow your nutrition to match and support those desires of your heart. So tracking your blood sugar, making sure you're pooping enough, making sure you're getting enough nutrition. Now, sometimes you could have diabetes constipation and or diarrhea. Sorry, constipation or diarrhea because you're not getting enough nutritional density in your foods. We talked about that. Grow your own foods, hit up the farmer's market, try the Juice Plus nutrition plans. You need to get fruits and vegetables in your body. And there's no excuse. Just because it's not readily available right now, you got to be more creative. Guys, me too. Me too. Yeah. So yes, I do have some things that are in place for me. Yes, I can run out and garden and grab some things, but some things I can't. And some things I want that I can't. Like I told you about the jicama. I wanted some jicama today and it looked like an apple. And I was like, ain't nobody eating that. Nobody's eating that. What is that? It was disrespectful. I wanted to take the jicama sign off because that's disrespectful. That's not a jicama. I don't know what that is, but I don't even know why they put it in the stores. But really, I want you guys to be able to reject food like that. You have the right. You don't have to just take it because it's there. You don't have to just accept that. You don't have to accept that ugly food. Like go hit up a farmer's market or get online and get you a box shipped to the house that you know is high quality, aligns with your core values. You know it's going to taste the way it's supposed to, probably better. And you know, if you have some neighbors, I live in a community with a lot of vineyards and vineyards and orange orchards and apple orchards. And sometimes people will barter. They get their big boxes. Hey, I got a box of oranges. Can I have, you know, a box of avocados or whatever it is? So get to know your, I know, right? California life. So really, really take the time to figure out what it is that you want to do for yourself. I'm not telling you to get off the grid, but I am telling you to not be so reliant on a system that is investing in your illness. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not telling you to go rogue. I'm not telling y'all to act crazy. Don't be protesting. Those are businesses. Let them do what they do. But what I am saying is set some things in place. You have the right. Wellness is your birthright. You have the right to set some things in place so that you don't have to be reliant on people who are choosing to invest in your illness. I have a big old box of sea moss over here that I'm going to be making and I'm going to be offering to y'all as an additional service of business, but it is again because of the quality of things that I'm seeing going out right now. I can't let y'all go out like that. I can't go out like that because it doesn't align with my core values. And I'm sure having these conversations every single week, whether you're choosing to interact with me or not, I know you care because you keep watching. So I want you to learn and understand and begin to take notes and make the best choices for yourself. You deserve the best quality. So even if that means little by little, you make these changes, little by little, you get more water, little by little, you know, you get you a little essential oil. Let me try this one and see how it tastes. Yes, try it all. Call me out on it. Let me know if it worked. Let me know if it sucks. Like you guys, this is a part of nourishing your brilliant body. I want to make sure you have enough information to make the best choices for yourself. All right. Okay. And that's the end of that. So we're going to go into the quick. Let me find my sugar list for you. I don't have any questions on. It doesn't look like it. Let me make sure.
Okay.
No questions. Let me check comments. No. All right. So let me go in here and grab this list for you. All right. Hope I remember my login, y'all. I have so many different logins here. So with sugars, yes. So many different logins from school and all kinds of stuff. So, and there was a list that I made like in my last year because it was so intriguing to me because of course you guys, I know you guys, this is normal for me now. I pay for these big fancy words. It was not born with it. So I had to learn too. Okay, so there are some basic simple sugars. So dextrose, fructose, galactose, glucose, lactose, which is actually the sugar that's in milk, maltose, and sucrose. A lot of those are things that we've seen. There are solid sugars or granulated sugars, beet sugar, which is the natural sugar, brown sugar, which is cane sugar, usually cane sugar. Now it's been white sugar, so you have to really look at the label. Cane sugar and molasses. And a fun fact about molasses is the S. Molasses is actually highly beneficial for the body. I know that sounds strange. It seems like it wouldn't be, right? Super duper beneficial for the body. I don't know if you guys had an old school grandma like I did, but there were many times I got a spoonful of molasses. I was not happy about it because I didn't understand why you keep giving me this. It's gross. It looks like tar. It smells super sweet. I want it, but I don't want a spoon of it. Like, why are you making me do this? But there's so many dense minerals and vitamins. Like, it's a really amazing mixture of things. So molasses is actually very good for you, but no, I'm not telling you to go get a spoon and handle the molasses, but it is very beneficial for your body, just like maple syrup. Maple syrup is completely natural. It comes from the sap of a maple tree. It is reduced it down. It has some amazing B vitamins. It is plant-based. So these are actually sugars that are beneficial for your body. Guys, I'm not demonizing sugar. I love sweets. There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with you enjoying the sweet palate on your tongue. Your tongue allows you the opportunity to taste sweet. However, highly processed sugar is not recognized in our bodies. Okay, so that's actually going to be stored as fat, and it's going to cause toxicity in our bodies. Now, I am not hating on your trip or your weekend trip with your boo or date night. Get you some ice cream, do what you do with your whipped cream, enjoy your time. But, but what I am saying is this should not be a lifestyle. This should not be a lifestyle, and you have to make sure that you're getting the best quality sources that you can. So cane sugar, cane juice crystals. Cane juice crystals are actually beneficial, but because of the way that they're processed, you have to look at the label. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Make sure it's not processed with actual processed sugar. If it's just cane juice or evaporated cane juice, those are actually good things. So sugar actually comes in a cane. It's a cane looking stick, and you split it down the middle, and actually it's kind of a soft, mealy center, and you juice the juice from a sugar cane is where we actually get sugar from. Now, after that, it can be genetically modified and then refined and turned into a whole nother substance. And that's what I'm talking about isn't beneficial for our bodies. Now, cane juice syrup, cane juice crystals, those are more easily recognizable because they are from a natural source. So castor sugar is just it can be cane juice crystals, or it can be refined sugar. So read the label. It's just really, really ground up really, really fine so that it can, like usually when you go to club and you get a drink and there's something sweet, castor sugar is what they use because it will, it'll dissolve faster than regular sugar. Okay. Coconut sugar is actually very beneficial for the body. However, don't get too much of it. It has a higher fat content, and if it's been processed, it's not the right kind of fat that our body recognizes as beneficial. But you can read the label again for that. Confectioner sugar, again, that is processed. It's usually processed with cornstarch. Of course, I don't think anybody's like just totally taking this to the head. Please don't. It's not good for you. But, sprinkle here and there is not too bad. But it is a processed sugar. You need to be aware of that. So it's going to be stored in your body, in your fat cells. You guys know that now. So corn's not good for anybody. It really isn't. It's not a good thing for us to consume at all. We usually only do it during the holidays is what I can really think of. But if you find that you use corn syrup a lot, I want you to begin to kind of wean yourself off of that. It's highly addictive and it's not very good for your body. They do put it into a lot of children's things, which is alarming. But remember, they are investing in your illness. They're not investing in your wellness. Okay. So don't be upset with them. Just make better choices for yourself. But corn syrup is in a lot of children's foods because they can hide it in there very easily. Crystalline fructose, again, that's just a highly processed sugar. I would say to stay away from it. It's a crystallized sugar. So crystalline just means crystal. It's the shape that the sugar actually makes. And fructose, remember I told you is, hey uncle, is an actual type of sugar, fructose. So date sugar. Date sugar is actually amazing. I love date sugar. I love dates. Dates are so beneficial for the body. And a fun fact, dates are actually very beneficial for your muscle. So if you're trying to build some bulk, you're trying to build some booty, trying to build some abs, yeah, get you some dates. Throw those in your shakes, you can put them in your smoothies. Guys, I know that you probably think that you have to put them in frozen smoothies, but I put them in lemonade. So put them lemons or limes in your blender, get your water in there, throw you in some dates. I know you don't think they'll disappear. They will disappear. Now, if you want them to be really, really, super blended, go ahead and just put it through a sieve, but you won't need to. I have a Vitamix. If you have a high-powered blender, you don't have to worry about it. But you can totally replace all of the sugar in your house if you want to just use dates. It's always going to give you the opportunity. I'm running out of battery juice. Let me get my plug.
Yeah, because I noticed in a lot of I had a buddy, he's like a raw foodist. And so for the sweetener, he used a lot of dates. And that's how he would
dates are really good.
Certain recipes with the dates. So and they're pretty sweet too. They're really sweet.
They are. They're very sweet. And actually, you can use them as a pre-workout and a post-workout. So I think I did a video and people were like, what is that? What are you doing using that? Like, it was just 3 little dates, but it gives you so much energy. So I'm telling you guys, don't be just putting powders in your mouth and come on now. It doesn't even feel right. Like, that's not going to help you. That's not beneficial for your body. So get you some dates, you know, take you a little break, bite you a little date. I know it sounds weird. I know it seems weird because they don't look appealing. Let's just be honest. It looks like a big old raisin, right? Like dates don't look appealing, right? It looks like a big giant raisin. And then it looks waxy. It's weird, you guys. It totally is. But once you taste it, you'll be like, this is like caramel or something. Like it really has a really good flavor. Now, the best types of dates, I think, is it Madeira? I think it's Madeira dates. I'll give you the name before we leave, so you're not confused and then you be mad at me because you got the wrong kind of date. But dates are amazing. They're really, really good. Okay, Demerara sugar, I'm sorry. Demerara sugar is a mixture of natural and or processed. So you'd have to read the label. And if you have any questions about that, you can send me the questions. Dextrin is a natural sugar and it's supposed to preserve, and xylitol too. It's supposed to preserve the enamel of the teeth. But if you're really that touchy about sugar, then I would say just stay away from sugar. Like seriously, because it's always everything we put in our mouth is going to get all over our teeth anyway. So if it's an issue to where you need something sweet and you're trying to now get it from Dextrin or xylitol, then you may have a sugar addiction, which I would expect that you would do something about that. But I have a sugar-free detox on my page, so you'll go a whole 10 days without sugar, and I'll show you other things that you can eat to protect yourself. Diastatic malt is a sugar that they usually put in drinks, so be very careful about that. So see, you wouldn't think that that was sugar, right? So that's why I want you guys to really begin to read these labels. You'd probably be like, oh, it's soda, malt, right? That it must go in there. And we disregard, but these are the types of things that are causing us issues. Florida Crystals are all natural sugar company. I use them a lot when I do bake. And they have castor sugar as well, and their sugars are actually evaporated cane juice syrup, so they're really good sugars. Golden sugar is a natural sugar as well. Glucose syrup solids, I would stay away from that. It's not a natural sugar. Grape sugar is a natural sugar. However, I'm not sure in the context that it's being used here, it is a natural sugar. So again, turn it over and read the ingredient listing. Icing sugar is not a natural sugar. It is a refined and processed sugar. Maltodextrin is also a processed sugar. I would stay completely away from it. Muscovado sugar is a natural sugar. However, it's really expensive, and I don't remember why. I think it's from the type of sugar cane that it comes from. So that's not a big deal to you, then go ahead and use it. Panela sugar, again, it's just harvested a little bit differently. Raw sugar is very good, but it's difficult to what am I trying to say? It's difficult to mix because it's in big, larger chunks than the sugar that we're used to. Granulated sugar or table sugar, I told you guys before, it's highly processed. It's not best for the body. It's going to store in your fat cells, create additional toxicity in your body. So try to stay away as much as you can. Most commercial products, when it says sugar, just sugar, that's what they're talking about. And that's what I'm telling you guys to kind of stay away from. Now, if you do go to Starbucks or any of these other places and you buy these amazing drinks that you like, I think you actually have the option to ask them what type of sugar they offer, and they should be able to give you a different kind. So pick a different sugar. Just see if they have a different sugar. Ask them the options of sugar. This is where I'm telling you, it can fit into your daily lifestyle. It doesn't have to be difficult, and it doesn't have to be frustrating for you. So of course, one or two drinks here and there is not going to give you any issues. But if you're finding yourself craving and you're addicted, there's something else going on. If you're going through withdrawals, if you are getting the shakes, I know a lot of us don't like to talk about that or admit that. Guys, I'm not coming down on you. We're human. We all can get addicted to the same things because we're human. Our FDA is aware of that, which is why there's these types of sugars in our foods. So I'm not above you at all, and I'm not judging you at all. There were things that I was addicted to, and sugar was one of them because I enjoyed certain things. I enjoyed certain drinks. I really didn't think it was a big deal. Let me get the extra whipped cream, or let me get the non-dairy whipped cream. I really didn't think it was a big deal until I started to read what I was putting into my body. That's when it clicked for me. So I want you to have the same level of awareness. I want you to have the same level of awareness before you go to the doctor and they tell you that your cholesterol is elevated and it's not a big deal. Because I had to come to terms with, wait, what do you mean it's not a big deal? Then why is it elevated? Yeah. So I really don't want you to have to go through that. So I want you to learn before anything happens, or even after, now that you can connect the dots and we can make some changes together. Sucanat is a natural sugar, Sucanat. It is a natural sugar. I don't see it in regular stores, but things are becoming more readily available. It does have a high mineral content if you're interested in it, but it does have a different type of flavor. So it's if If you like the sugar flavor, then you probably won't necessarily like sucanat. It tastes like kind of a burnt sugar flavor, which is not a bad thing, but if you're not used to that, you're probably gonna think it's gross. Turbinado sugar is also a natural sugar. Yellow sugar, I'm not sure if they mean corn sugar here or not. There is a yellow sugar and it is derived from corn. I would say to stay away from that because corn is notoriously genetically modified. Okay, liquid sugars, agave, nectar, and syrup. Agave is really, really good and beneficial for the body. I would put it in the same category as maple syrup and molasses, but I want you to be very, very careful with it because it's often, so agave is actually from from a cactus. And cactus can make agave syrup or it can make, what is it? Is it vodka? No. It's one of the liquors that's important. It's one of those. So there's an alcohol that comes from it as well. So when they make the agave, it is cured in a way that allows it to thicken. So it doesn't have any alcohol in it. That's not what I'm saying, but it is highly processed in order to get it to that texture. So you might want to get the darker ones because they have a higher nutritional content in them. They have amber, they have light, they have dark, they have clear, they have some that are flavored. So again, flip it over, look at the ingredients, see if it's just agave nectar or agave syrup. Check the label. Barley malt is not a natural sugar. It can occur naturally, but when they process it, it's not naturally occurring. So if you see it in something that's actually already liquid, it's probably not as processed. But if you see barley malt in like, I don't know, Keebler cookies or Oreo cookies, and they probably had to process it a little bit more because that's a dried product. Okay. Blackstrap molasses, remember I told you guys about that, it's super healthy for your body. Don't overdo it. It does have a high vitamin and mineral content. Brown rice syrup is still a sugar, but it is from rice. It is going to go into your body and it could cause you issues in regards to toxicity, but it's not as unnatural as other sugars that I told you to be nervous about. So if you get a little piece of, I don't know, like they usually are in, brown rice syrup is usually in protein bars, trail mix bars, trail mix, those types of things, because it is a lighter sugar and you don't have to use as much for it to be so sweet. Caramel can be natural or unnatural, so it just kind of depends on what you're interested in. Now with caramel, it doesn't necessarily have to always be from milk because one of my favorite things is actually coconut milk caramel. So figure out what's the ingredients, figure out what's going on in the back, and then make your decision from there. Carob it tastes like chocolate, but it's not chocolate. So if you have a chocolate issue, chocolate's not bad for you guys. So let's just put that to rest right now. I think a lot of people think chocolate is bad. Now, chocolate doesn't always have to have milk. So if you want a chocolate that doesn't have milk, find one with rice milk, find one with oat milk, find one with coconut milk. So find something a little bit different, but there's really nothing wrong with chocolate. Chocolate is actually beneficial for the body because it comes from cacao. Cacao is very good for your body. It's high in antioxidants. Corn syrup, stay away. It's not natural. But if you get get you a couple candy corns here and there every year, it's not a big deal. But I'm talking about consistent, prolonged use of these products, especially corn syrup is not going to be beneficial for your body. Highly GMO, highly, highly toxic. Your body doesn't even recognize it. Evaporated cane juice syrup, I told you that's super normal. Fruit juice, if it is a natural fruit juice and you can see directly where it came from. Otherwise, it is going to be many different juices, the leftovers of many different fruits that they're going to cook down into a syrup, which is gross. And then they're just going to start putting it in the stuff to make it sweet. So I would say to stay away from that. Yeah, that doesn't sound good, right? So same thing with fruit juice concentrate. Golden syrup is actually, I think it's this treacle. Oh no, golden syrup and treacle are two different ones. So these are actually mostly found like in the UK in baking and things like that. So they have a high mineral content similar to molasses, high mineral content, high nutritional density. So if you get a chance to try it, I would say try it out. High fructose corn syrup, stay away. Honey is awesome. Honey is a high anti-inflammatory. So it's so awesome for you to get your big old dollop of honey at the end of the night before you go to bed, or when you get sick, put you some ginger in there, or you can just do the honey because it is highly anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antiviral. Really, really good for your body. Your body loves honey. And you can put it on your skin too. So I usually use it on my skin. You guys are always asking about my skin secrets. So I use it on my skin, I actually steam it in my skin. I know it sounds so weird to put like sweet stuff or food on your face. Guys, I have a very serious rule. If it's not safe enough to go in my body, I'm not going to put it on my face. So maybe that's one of my beauty secrets. I don't know. That could be, right? I don't, if it can't, if it's going to be, if like it says it's damaging to like, don't ingest it. Like, I'm like, well, then why would it go on my face? Because I'm still going to ingest it. Like my pores are on my face. So for me, that has been a rule of thumb for at least 20 years, guys. If I can't eat it, I'm not saying I want to go eat it, but if I can't eat it, then I'm not putting it on my face. But I also have a problem with like foods that I actually like. Like I'm never going to put an avocado mask on because I like avocados. I want to eat those. I don't want to put that on my face. So it's funny. It's funny. But if it's not safe enough for you to consume it, then I don't want you to put it on your skin because your skin's going to absorb it. It's going to bypass your liver, get right into your bloodstream. It can cause you all kinds of issues. So I would say about honey, you can use Manuka honey. Manuka honey is very, very healing and anti-inflammatory for the body. Lavender infused honeys, clementine infused, all of those are really, really good for your body. Invert sugar. Invert sugar is not natural, but it's not usually something that's put in a lot of foods. It's usually done for like cakes and weddings and parties and things like that if you order professionally. So that's not something you're going to be always consuming. So I would say not to be worried about that. Unless you have an addiction and you're going home and you're taking a little bites of invert sugar, call me so we can work that out because you're going to damage your body. And then maple syrup and molasses. We talked a little bit about that. Both of those are super healthy, but please do not make it a snack. It's not a snack, but it can be beneficial for your body. Okay. Refiner's syrup and sorghum syrup. Those are highly processed. You don't necessarily need them, but they're often in bread. I know it's super weird for sugars to be in bread, you guys, but I really want you to think, I told you, anywhere that they can get it in there, they're going to get it in there because they are invested in you being ill. You're investing in your illness from a very young age. Even those little biter biscuits. I remember when I first gave my niece a biter biscuit, I was so excited to actually share it with her until I gave her, I made the mistake, y'all. Y'all know I was a new godmommy. So I opened it and I gave it to her. And then I looked at the label. So y'all know what happened, right? I was like, oh, so then the hand is all this. And what are you doing? You just gave this. She was so mad. I felt so bad. And so, of course, I had to go immediately out and get her something. She screamed the entire time, but it was my fault. I should have gave it to her and then looked at the label. So please don't make that mistake. I'm pretty sure it's been 11 years. I'm pretty sure she's still mad at me, mad at me about that. But you have to be very, very careful, even with those biter biscuits. I think they had the sorghum syrup or something in there. But yeah, highly, highly toxic to our bodies. So imagine your little baby's body, right? They're only like 8-10 pounds. Like, what are you feeding them toxins for? So really take the time to think about that. Hey, Nisha, I talked about agave syrup. So yes, agave syrup is highly beneficial for the body, but it does not have as much nutritional density as, say, dates, maple syrup, or what was the other one I said? Molasses. But yeah, it's not bad. You want to go for the darker ones because they have a higher mineral and vitamin content, and they're more beneficial for your body. All right, so that's all the sugars. And okay, any questions or concerns? So we're talking about diabetes and the propensity for COVID, how it affects COVID, how it puts you more in danger, how it affects your body, how you should be protecting your body if you have diabetes or pre-diabetic diagnosis. If you all have any questions, please let me know right now. I don't see any questions, but y'all, if you do, bring them on. If you want to do it later after the video is posted, you can do that too. But I really want to caution you, we don't have enough information to make the best decisions for our bodies. We don't. Even with our masks, even with our social distancing, I need you guys to choose to make the best decisions for your body in regards to your health and wellness. So that's going to be high quality nutrition, making sure you're getting enough water, making sure that you're getting that movement, controlling your environment as best you can. And then I really, truly want you to write out what your core values are for your body. What do you desire to do? Because that's going to help you create a nutrition plan for yourself, because it's going to align with what you choose, what you desire for your future in this body to be. You have to plan it out. Do the same thing for your loved ones. If your mommies and aunties or daddies and uncles, same thing. How do you want to nourish these children's brilliant bodies? You are responsible for helping them create the most brilliant body until they can take the reins, until they can take responsibility. So you want to give them the best example that you can. A lot of us are not taught, most of us, me included, I was not taught wellness as a skill set, right? So I just mimicked a lot of the things that my family did. And the only difference with me was that my body violently let me know that doesn't work. So constipation, diarrhea, stomach aches, I was in the hospital. So my body let me know very early. But if I had forged on and continued, what do you mean I'm supposed to eat like this? My mom, my sister, my brother, my auntie eats like this. If I would have pushed the issue, I know that I would have developed some type of diseases or many diseases or comorbidities of diseases because I was not listening to my brilliant body. So I really want you all to take the opportunity now. We're at home a lot more. So take the time to sit down. What do I desire for this body? If it's aesthetics, I don't want you to lead with that. But if it is aesthetics, take that aesthetic and go all the way back to nutrition. So don't just focus on aesthetics, because if it is aesthetics, you're going to get on the computer, you're going to look up some tummy tea, and you're going to buy that. And I don't want you to do that. You're going to damage your intestines. You guys know how I feel. And then you're going to be skinny and you're going to have a colostomy bag. Then you're going to be mad. That's not going to be my fault because I told you. So I really don't want to be more respectful to your body. If it is an issue with you not understanding how nutrition works, then just get the knowledge and help yourself. Prioritize health and wellness, prioritize nutrition for your body. But please, I know our society is really focused on shortcuts. I know that. I understand the pressure, but I really want you to realize that you're worth more than that. You deserve more than that. You deserve the absolute best. Do not damage your body in the pursuit to fit an aesthetic. You are brilliant. You're beautiful. You're handsome, regardless of your size. I promise you, if you take weight off of the table and focus on nutrition, it'll help you to meet those goals that you didn't even know you had. So anything else from you, sir?
No. I enjoyed hearing about the different sugars. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because like you said, it's in everything,
it is.
and we need to be aware of it. So
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys keep an eye out for that. If any of these resonated with you or are confusing to you, or if you're not sure, just put it back on this. Put it back on this feed. I'll put a question in there, I guess, so you guys can be reminded. Oh, you know what? I'll change the title so it'll include sugar, so you guys will know. If you have a sugar question, just add it on there, and I'll also put it in my stories so that if you guys are confused about what does this product mean, or is this the sugar that you were talking about, or if you didn't get a chance to take notes, yeah, go ahead and ask. You can also get your phone out if you're at the store. Don't just trust what's going on. I'm telling you, our government is invested in your illness because they get paid more. They do. It's just a part of what it is. Now, if you want to protest, that's your passion. Do that. But I promise you, just choose different avenues of wellness. Choose different avenues of nutritional density for yourself. It's a much more noble pursuit, and I'm sure it'll align with your core values more, because I don't think you wrote down protesting the government for your core values. But I really want you all to realize that your bodies are brilliant, even when they're communicating things that you don't like. It's still a communication, and it's still an amazing opportunity for you to heal, restore, and rebuild your body. So thank you so much for hanging out with me and Pope tonight. We had an amazing time. We were talking about diabetes and COVID, and then we got into blood sugar, and I told you guys about all the different types and forms of sugar, beneficial and non-beneficial. And I really want you to take the opportunity to listen to that if you didn't get all that, and then ask me any questions that you might have. So leave them in the comments on each of these. And then also this full video is going to be up on Pope the Blueprint on YouTube. And then they're going to
be, it'll be on your YouTube.
Oh, it'll be on my YouTube as well. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Be brilliant because you are. Have an amazing evening, and I will see you next week.
Peace.
Yay. All right. Wait, let me save that. Download. Let me do this. It wasn't as nice. Stop. And then YouTube.